Now, before we go ahead with some of the next labs, so because of some issues, what we have faced in the actual setup, what we have planned initially, so I made some changes to the existing topology. Now, the difference here is in the previous, if you remember the topology setup, we connected the cloud, probably the management cloud here, and then we're actually trying to manage the GUI from this PC. So I was going to the browser, and then from the browser, I was typing in 192.168.10.1. So in this case, it's 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, and this is 10.5. So I was using 192.168.10.subnet, which I have designed initially. And then I was using that. So one of the issue what we faced is, especially the browser inside the server. Of course, this is a CA, still this is a CA. But again, getting into that VM or the virtual machine and trying to log in is something a little bit adding delay. So I made some changes. So what we are doing now here is, so I have moved this management cloud to here, which means my laptop, which is using now this complete management network, I have changed to 192.168.15.subnet. So the same subnet what I'm using in my LAN, the wireless network, or the network what I'm using in my setup, in my wireless. Of course, in your network, it might be a different subnet. So you just need to check that. Means whatever the IP you are getting, it's from that. So if you try to see here from my server, it's already configured with 192.168 15.subnet. So I'm using this 15.subnet. There are multiple NICs here, but the one which I'm using, this one, 192.168.15.1, that's a actual NIC, the physical interface card. And similar way, likewise, if I go back to my laptop as well, it's the same thing. So if I say IP config, so there are multiple VMnet interfaces as well. The one which I'm using here is 192.168.15.11. So I use static IPs just to make sure that these IPs do not change so that I can remember, but it can be dynamic IPs as well. So probably the same physical network what I have been using. So I'm using that as my management interface, which means I can, if I want to log into any of these devices, which means if I want to log into my vManage or any of these devices, even the CA here, so I'll be using 192.168.15. subnet, and I have just used 101, 102, 103, and 105. So I have changed the IPs. So probably it's going to be 10 and whatever the IP we decided earlier. So we just need to change these things. So these are the few changes what we did based on the previous topology, because I just wanted to make sure these things works fine. And then I removed this host from here and I connected to my switch here. Of course, you need to add one. Here, what I need to do is I need to go into edit and I have to add additional NICs, because by default, I think I used only one, which has 4 interfaces. So already connecting 4. So I added 2 slots. So 2 slots means total 8 interfaces I'll be getting, so that I can connect one interface to this side. So we removed the PC from here. That's the only difference. So I was using from here in order to connect, but now I'm using my direct laptop, or I can also use my physical server, the server where EV is installed, probably to do the labs. So other thing, I need to go to the vManage, and here we need to make the changes in the configurations as well, because if you remember, as per my previous configurations, this interfaces was configured with 192.168.10.subnet. That's something what we initially planned. Now, as I have made changes, I also need to make sure that I change the IP addressing part on the other devices as well. So I did on all. I'll be showing you one of them. So still they're initializing. Let me quickly go and check the vSmart. Admin here, if I say show run VPN to verify my configurations, so I just need to replace the IP address with 192.168.15.subnet. So previous it was 10 dot subnet. Now we made some changes and I changed this to 15 dot 15 dot subnet, and of course it will be 101, 102, 103, and 105 because I'm already using starting IPs for my network. So you need to plan those things. That's something I'm doing. So similar way, I have changed to other devices as well. So if I can log into my vManager to verify this, it's still taking some time. So let's quickly check the vBond as well to confirm admin and admin. And if I say show run VPN, now these things we know how to change. So I have just changed the IP addressing. Go to VPN 512 and go to this Ethernet interface 0, and then change the IP addressing. Now, similar way, the same thing here on the Windows machine as well, which means I cannot do remote desktop connect. I can still do remote desktop connection if I know the IP addressing of this. So from this subnet, so if I want to access my server inside the Eve, so I need to, let me use it from a laptop here. So I'll be doing the remote desktop connection to 192.168.15.105. 105 is the remote connection for your server, the CS server. Test 123 is a password. So I'll make sure that I remember this. So this is my CS server. So enterprise CS server, the one which we are using. So somewhat faster, you can see here, it's not taking much time. So this is how I'm accessing. So even I have changed the IP address of this to 105. So you know how to change the IP address. You just need to go to the interface, the NIC card, and change the IP address. So let me quickly verify one more, the one on the vManager. So anyway, I can just ping from any one of this. I can ping to 192.168.15.101, which is my vManager. I'm going to count. So I have to say VPN 0. So VPN 512, it has to be 512. So 192.168.15.101. So you can see I'm able to ping to my vManager as well as my vSmart, which is 102. And as well as I should be able to ping to my local itself. Of course, local, you can ping the vBond, which is 103. But again, I don't need to change anything on the other side because we are not changing the IPs on the other side of the network. So if you see here, the transport network still remains the same. I'm still using this 192.168.100 dot subnet. So which means, if you remember, we have configured that vBond should be 192.168.100.3. So this is typically your transport VPN, which is VPN 0. So which means still this is going to work fine based on the previous configuration. So we don't need to disturb that. So this part, that's how we are trying to do here. And this is my remote desktop connection for the CS server. And let's quickly verify. I should be able to open up some CS certificate. Let's verify that as well. And if I want to log into my vManage, I can use any of my browsers here. So I can use any of these browsers to connect to the vManage. First, we'll verify this inside the server. Let's verify the CS certificate as well as the vManager GUI part. Now here, the vManager is going to be 192.168.15.101. So this is my vManager. Now I can log in from my laptop direct or I can use the direct server. Also, you can use the server where you are practicing the labs. Just try to change the browser. So the same thing. Okay, fine. So we did multiple things. Like I said, we restarted the vManager, and then probably I tried to clear the cookies on the browser's history and those few things. Maybe after that, I'm able to see few things after some time. So we are just trying to log in because we have made some changes to our topology. We just wanted to make sure that everything is working as it was working previously. So we should be able to log into the vManager here. You can see. So all the options works fine. So as I said, we made some changes and we started using this 192.168.15 subnet, the one which is connecting to my physical network. So I'll be using that. And accordingly, I have changed the IP addressing as per that.